Good day everyone, especially to you Sir Gamali. My topic for today is about Filipino influences, traits, and characteristics. The Philippines is the meeting point of cultures from all over Asia and Pacific because it has been crossroads between East and West, and the merging of cultures reflect the country's culture and its people. It comes from various ethno-linguistic groups that native to the island or migrants from various Asia Pacific regions. Filipinos are the people who are naturally born to or recognized with the Philippine country. China, the United States, and Spain mainly influences the modern Filipino identity. True Filipinos are racially similar to Malays, but in terms of culture, they are more like the Spaniards. It could be claimed that Filipinos are the most hot-blooded and brave citizens. In the tropical Asian cultures like other countries, Philippines has been its opposing values and labels. It is believed by the Filipinos that the country have the best values in the world. True, it has experienced colonization by several countries, but the core values it has gained from the Filipino ancestors remain intact and still honored today, like the bayanihan or spirit of kinship and the camaraderie implemented by Malay ancestors and the close family ties inherited by the Chinese ascendants. The most well-known traits and attitudes of the Filipino. Number 1 is hospitality. Hospitality is a trait displayed by the Filipinos, characterized by the heart-warming generosity and friendliness exhibit to the foreigner and locals alike. Filipinos are well known for being hospitable. This is one of the most popular qualified Filipinos. Most foreigners who have gone to the Philippines felt love with the warmth and hospitality they have experienced while staying in the country. This is a kind of value system which has existed in the country. Thousands of years ago. Good thing is that the hospitality of Filipinos is not only shown to the foreigner, but to its fellow Filipino as well. Hospitality of Filipinos is shown in the following sample of situations. When a person visits a friend's house, the host greets him and her with a very warm welcome. The host will immediately let their visitor to sit down and prepare a meal or snack, plus drinks for the visitor. The host will insist that the friend not leave the house with the empty stomach. A host will always make sure that you have a great time visiting them. People offer their guest room to visitors if they are going to spend the night. Meals offered to guests are very special. A host always find a way to prepare great tasting food that her visitor wants to eat. Number two is respect. This is often observed not just by younger people, but also by people of all ages. In the Philippines, respect for one's elder is a tradition. Po and opo. These words spoken by the Filipinos when talking to elders or in order to show respect to the person in authority. These Filipino words mean yes when answering or taking to the elders. Pagmamano. Another way of showing respect to the elders when greeting them. This is done by putting their elders' hands on their foreheads. Filipino also show respect at work by making bow to their employee. Number three, strong family ties and religious. Filipino value their family so much that they are tend to keep families intact. Through the generations, families go to church and pray together because their religion is important and creates a strong bond, marking God as the center of their lives. Filipino believes marking one of God and majority of the population are Catholics. It's a value of system that Filipinos to pray before eating, going to bed, before the start of the meeting, conferences, or program gathering. On weekends, most Filipino families make sure to have their quality time together by watching televisions or eating a family meal, watch movie, or going to beach resorts. Number four is generosity and helpfulness. Aside from being hospitable, Filipino are also well known for being generous. They share what they have to people around them, even if they only have little. This could felt during the birthdays, weddings, or fiesta or party. When visitors became to celebrate great tasting special foods are especially prepared for everyone. It is shared by friends, family, or even stranger. When you will be in trouble, Filipino cannot refuse to help you. They are always willing to assist you or lend a hand. Number five is strong work ethics. Another good thing of most Filipino have is being hardworking people. They are always willing to work almost the whole day to provide the needs of their families. Filipino farmers through earning so little but they work harder with not much compensation. Aside from their regular work, Filipino always find create ways to look for other sources of income, like creating a small business from their home where they'll sell food or other items for the convenience of their neighborhoods. Number 6. Loving and caring. Because of their generosity and hospitality and religiosity, Filipino are found that to be the sweetest and most loving people in the world. It is expressed by both foreigner and Filipino women that most Filipino men are so sweet and romantic. When it comes to love, they will send their beloved flowers, bring him to the very romantic places, text her a sweet coat, and tell often how special she is to them. Filipino women are also romantic and very caring, which often makes some foreigner want to marry them. Women tend to prepare dinner before their husband comes home. They love and they value the relationship, always staying faithful to their husband. They love deeply and sincerely. So, negative traits of a Filipino. So, number 1 is fatalism. In Tagalog, bahala na or come with me or attitude. When Filipino are facing difficulties and shortcoming, they have this attitude of leaving it up to God to sort things. They have this attitude of leaving it up around comes and around. Filipino have a tendency to surrender the future to luck. They have that strong confidence that everything will work out in his interest without doing anything. Filipino often accept bad news or circumstances without trying to stop or change them. This can be sometimes be helpful in adversity, but it can also keep us from finding ways out of situation. Also, constantly expecting the worst can get pretty depressing. Number 2 of negative traits of a Filipino is mañana habit. True-blooded Filipinos have the attitude of causing delay in accomplishing things or making transactions. When delay in accomplishing things, not interested or not in the mood, they wait or reserve until tomorrow, or not in the mood, or the next day to finish what they are doing or something their transactions. However, there are some Filipino nowadays who take their time in doing things or in making decision promptly. There are some who are habitually late or not showing up at all. There are few Filipino who are punctual for social meetings. In fact, it is not expected of them to arrive exactly on the same especially at party. The bahala na attitude is the outcome of mañana habit. When tasks are left undone, this is usually shown and even expressed by people who do not care so much of what lies ahead and just live everything in faith. So number 3, crab mentality. This attitude of some Filipino where they tend to push each other down to clear the way for their own gain. Filipino people with this kind of mentality attitude try their best to ruin each other either by making issues against the other for him to turn out bad to the public or to the company or organization, so that will gradually put distance and lose their confidence and trust that eventually result to their replacement. Hypocrisy. This a trait of the Filipino where criticism to the other failure to live with the moral standards of the society are the inevitable. In the Philippines, morality is highly valued. Most of us try to live up to the standards set by the traditional society. However, as no one is perfect, many of us are not actually able to sustain these standards. The fear of being an outcast has forced a lot of people to live a double standard life. To hide our failure. In following norm, we tend to becoming or to be condemning those who are caught red-handed. A perfect example could be the criticism faced by those who become pregnant outside marriage. The sad fact behind this scenario is that some of these critics could have actually engaged in premarital sex too, only that no proof is visible. Number 5 is Nigaskogon. Most of Filipino are very good at start when doing something. Nevertheless, after a few hours or days, that excitement to do or accomplish something is lost and become too lazy to finish. We were hard started. Number 6, tardiness. Filipino time. Only in the Philippines that we have the so-called Filipino time, but not exactly referring to the Philippine standard time. But then again, we must use it to refer the tardiness of the person that are waiting or keep on coming too late to the set time schedule of events. Instead of being something to do, to be proud of Filipino time brings negative impression to our people. When the invitation says the program will start at 7 p.m., it is expected to begin at 9 p.m. This has not only caused conflict in relationship, it also discourages other, including foreigner, from getting involved in supposedly productive activity, as too much time can be wasted on waiting. Gossiping. Filipino are fond of thinking about others' business. It's not true that only women are into gossiping. Even men can do. Also be nosy on their on other people lives. Secrets are brought out. Failure and flaws are emphasized. And relationships are destroyed. Worse, as gossips are passed around, they tend to be twisted until the final story becomes too far from the original, thus causing more damages. Number 8 is blaming. Filipinos can sometimes be too self-righteous. When mistakes happen, we do not want to take the blame. We lack humility to accept our failures. Instead, we point at others. This shown irresponsible. We are on our actions. This attitude destroys teamwork, and reliability becomes an issue. Number 9 is selfishness or being sensitive of other. Most Filipino are sensitive to the needs and situations of other. This could be an outcome of having too many problems that Filipinos are facing, and the tendency is to focus on their own needs first before others. Number 10 is disobedience to simple rules and instructions. Some Filipino, despite of being understanding of the purpose of laws and ordinances, have inability to observe and follow them. Consequently, crime victimization and accident rate in the Philippines are constantly rising. Poverty is getting more rampant, and lifestyle development is relaxed. Number 11 is attention taker. Filipinos are fun and people-loving race. Thus, attracting attention is natural for them. Nevertheless, it is a different thing to be an apal or kapalmuks. It is a different thing to be an apal or kapalmuks, simply being attention grabber. Sometimes, in our desperate needs to be the center of attention, we do things that already embarrassing, like butting in conversation as known it all, or by being scandalous. This is the habit is also common to our politician. Instead of prioritizing their duty to give the best serve to the people, they rather prioritize their thick faces to grab attention that will bring them more chance of winning in the next election. But thanks to our vigilant netizen, this kind of politician earns more shame than fame. Being onion skin or too sensitive. Another habit or attitude that we need to change is our being too proud, which usually result to being oversensitive. Each we think that highly of ourselves. Number 13 is living beyond their means. One of the most reason why Filipinos live in poverty is because of overspending. Since the more people want to live in an elite lifestyle, many resorts to social climbing or living beyond their means. Number 14 is positivity or lack of leadership. Filipinos' lack of initiative for change is also one of the reasons why our country does not progress. We keep on complaining against the government and other societal issues. However, we do not do anything about them. One of our excuses is the lack of faith that our small actions can bring changes. However, the worst reason for this could be a lack of care for what is happening around us. And number 15 is other negative traits. Some Filipino women are give birth at early age at 16. Teenage pregnancy. Some just don't mind their own businesses. Some have many bad habits like drinking, smoking, and etc. Some poor teenager engage in prostitution. There are many broken families, a lot of bad words to choose from, which Filipino just can't avoid saying those. Most Filipino tend to be with friends most of the time than to be with their parents. Filipino character and personality. There are three main traits under coping the Filipino values. Number 1 is personalism. Number 2 is familism. And number 3 is particularism. Filipino values orientations. Values on all orientations. This approach that many influence work or social relationship by person relating to object, events, and ideas. There are main obligations underlying Filipino values and orientation. Number 1 is pakikiramay. Is a Filipino value of going out of the way of help without being asked. Number 2, pakikisama. Regardless whether some's view of agreeable or not. Bayanihan. As mentioned in the preceding topics, Filipinos are able to render their services and generous enough to extend help without compensation. And lastly, galang or respect. Filipinos are basically oriented to serve the opinions of elder, peers, or those in authority. During important discussion, during social encounters, verbal clash, or any sign of extreme familiarity in public meetings. It is a sign of disrespect to elders or person in authority. So that's all for today. Thank you.